Hey friends, Paulie Walnuts here, and I would like to thank everybody for tuning in to episode 3. I'm super excited about my guest that I have today, but before we get into the show, we're going to go ahead and give a thanks and shout outs to our sponsors. First, I'd like to thank Maddox Decks. They were the first supporter of the podcast. Custom-made skateboards by a local skateboarder here in Jacksonville, Florida. In my opinion, they're the best damn decks you can ride. I've been riding several now, and I couldn't be more stoked about the wood I got under my feet. Next, we would like to give a big thanks to Pomeroy Woodwork and Design. They specialize in traditional craftsmanship, custom design, cabinet making, crown molding and trim, furniture refurbishing, and repurposing. You can email them with inquiries at pomeroywoodworkdesign@gmail.com. That's POMEROYWOODWORKDESIGN@gmail.com, and check them out on the gram at Pomeroy Woodwork Design. Also like to give a big thanks to Lawn Chair. Many people ask, what is Lawn Chair? Is it a company? Is it a brand? Is it a movement? Is it all of the above or none of the above? No one is quite sure. All we know, it's coming to a lawn near you, and you best beware the chair. I'm super stoked for everything that's on the horizon for all of the creatives and artists that are associated with Lawn Chair, as well as the brand itself. And finally, we'd like to give a huge thanks and a big shout out to our latest sponsor of the program. That would be Over-Cast Fishing Apparel. It is apparel by anglers for anglers, freshwater and inshore saltwater. If you are into tattoos, the tattooing culture, tattoo art, and you're also a fisherman, this is the brand for you. They're all made locally here in Jacksonville Beach, Florida, by a local tattoo artist and angler, and he is actually my guest on the show today. So first, we're going to go ahead and check in with my buddy Squirrel. He is going to be leading a new segment we're going to call POS. It is a monthly check-in with our punk on scene to give you updates about all the punk shows and events around in Florida and specifically in the Jacksonville area. And then we're going to get into a conversation with my buddy Bob Presson. So once again, thanks everybody for tuning in to Paulie on the Pod episode 3. And here we go, guys.
Or at least in the morning.
It's Beyond the Pod.
You're listening to Beyond the Pod.
Yo, let's go. You're on your pod.
You're listening to Beyond the Pod.
Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and get this started with checking in with my good friend Squirrel. He is our POS, that is Punk on Scene, and he's going to give us a little update about all the punk rock events and shows we got coming up in the month of January. There's a bunch of dope ones, so let's go ahead and check in with him now. Hey, Squirrel, how you doing, bud?
What's up, everybody? Tuning into the pod.
Yeah.
This is Squirrel with all your show and band and news-related stuff going on the punk and metal scene.
Tell him what's up.
So, summer's pretty much over, so we're going to jump right into January. And starting on New Year's, we have 2 shows coming up. We have a hardcore show at 1904 with a stacked bill. Bands such as Evergreen Terrace,
Yeah, I love
Mega
it.
Church, and then there's a show on Island Tropics that same night featuring a ton of local punk bands. Some have been in the scene for a little while now, and some who are just starting out. We got bands such as
Dope.
Swill, Lip Scum, and Plasma.
Dope.
Then back at Island Tropics on the 5th, we've got some more local punk bands, including some really cool out-of-towners that you should definitely check out. Armor, who I believe is a newer band, but he's like really plowing their way through
Right.
the scenes and whatnot. Then we have on the 15th, Radkey is playing Jackrabbits,
Sick.
a really cool all black punk band. Sounds a little bit like the Ramones and Misfits. And later on in the month, Daytona will be hosting its monthly punk rock pop-up on the 17th. It's going to be a couple reggae-ish punk bands, and then we got a death metal band closing out the night, so that should be really cool.
Yeah, I'll be at that one.
Really cool band, Corrupted Saint. They're pretty badass. Then on the 24th, we have Lucifer, a heavy metal band. Can't speak too much on them, but that will be at 1904. And then on the 26th, this is the one you're not going to want to miss.
Who's
Black
playing?
Flag.
Whoa.
At 1904.
So sick.
The 26th. So mark your calendars. Definitely not going to want to miss it. They have frontman Mike Vallely on mic right now. So if you're familiar with his skating, you should know what to expect from his energy and what he'll bring to the mic.
Yeah.
And then I also want to highlight a band. So for every month, I'm going to try and maybe highlight a band if that's cool. And I want to give a shout out to Body Snatchers, a bunch of local little dudes.
Body Snatchers, shout out.
Really on their way to becoming a really awesome local Jax band. I've had the honor of watching them progress from their first show to where they are now. It's really cool. Those dudes they got an awesome sound, almost a little power violence-y mixed with punk, and even throwing in some surf rock and almost like some funky tunes.
Sick.
Those dudes are really great. Yeah, so this was Squirrel on your monthly
POS update.
Not really sure what it's going to be called. I'm going to leave it up to P-Law to figure all that out.
It's the punk on scene.
That's what's going on in the month of January. Be sure to check out any of those shows. They're all bound to be killer shows.
Sounds like it.
Amazing bands.
Yeah, man, we look forward to it. I appreciate you for coming on and being my POS. You're not a piece of shit. I love you. You're our punk on scene. That's Squirrel from Scum. And you're definitely going to want to check out those shows. I will be at the Black Flag show at 1904. I'll definitely be at the Kona pop-up on the 17th. So I hope to see you there. It's your boy Paulie Walnuts. Super stoked to be here with my buddy Bobby P, Bob Presson.
Hello.
My man right here, fishing. He's not saving any fish for us. Tattoo artist. Drummer, expert. Come on, like the list goes on and on about the talents that Bob Presson has.
I don't know about all that.
Oh, I know about it. We're going to go ahead and start about talking about the drums and the music influence. So, how old were you when you started playing drums? What was the first setup like? And how crazy did you drive your parents?
It's crazy how it happened because I remember wanting to play guitar so bad.
Really?
Yeah, I wanted a guitar. I talked to my parents. I was 8 years old, I think, either 8 or 9. I'm pretty sure I was 8. Yeah, and then last minute, my oldest brother Bo, he's 8 years older than me. He's like, "Why don't you get drums so we can jam?" Because he played guitar already, and that's why I wanted to get a guitar because he had a guitar. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, you wanted to be like the older brother, right?
Yeah, and I've always, thanks to my dad, I've always been very into music. But my mom too. My mom's a great classical guitar player, but
really,
my dad's taste in music, I think, is what I was always into. But yeah, last minute, it was Christmas was coming up. And then I was just like, I think I really want a drum kit. My parents were like, what the fuck? Like, all right,
Yeah, like the
high
last
hopes,
thing that any parent wants to have on the like the Santa list is something that makes a lot of noise.
Yeah, and not only that, but drums are...
They're not cheap.
Playing drums is the most expensive hobby I have. I mean, your cymbals, if you get good cymbals, we're talking at least $300 per cymbal, then I have fucking 5 or 6 of them, so it's expensive, and you can get starter kits and stuff. That's what I got. But yeah, that's what, I don't know. I had no real desire to play drums before that. I mean, I would beat on stuff around the house and pots and pans and shit, but
right.
Yeah, so 8 or 9. I think it was probably 8.5 that Christmas before I turned 9. I got a drum kit. I didn't think it was gonna happen. I was so pumped. I remember coming home, and it was right before Christmas, and they were all set up in my brother Joey and I's room. It was really cool, So
let me ask you this. So you said that all you wanted was to play guitar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, your big brother played guitar. Like that's the rock star. Like that's the center, right? So when was it after you got that drum kit and your brother was like, "No, you should play the drums"? When was it that fire took over and you realized, I like playing the drums. Like this is dope. I want to try to do this actually.
It's weird, man. So I played all the time. I was really pumped on it. I didn't take it that seriously, I'm self-taught. I play
Self-taught, like completely?
Yeah,
like, no lessons.
No lessons. I play
Get the fuck out of here.
I play unorthodox. I play open-handed. I play left-handed with a right-handed setup. So I play different than most people. There's a lot of phenomenal drummers that play the same way, open-handed.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that it gives me better range of the drum kit. It gives me...
So let me ask you what you mean by that, because I played like snare drum and quads, like middle school band. It was my only like real percussion serious experience. Other than that, sitting behind some friends' drum sets, because I took lessons, played bass in high school, self-taught on guitar.
So
what do you mean by open-handed?
Basically, okay, so
traditional, like right here, kick is like my right leg.
Yeah, same setup, but instead of playing the hi-hat with your right hand, which is a traditional right-handed drummer, cross arm, hi-hats right hand, snare left hand, I play hi-hats with my left hand, snare with my right hand. So it's instead of crossing my arms to play,
they're open. I get it now. Okay.
And it's it looks like, seeing myself play drums, I think it looks weird, but also it looks kind of cool, But
I've seen you play drums.
It gives me. I'm right-handed with most things. I play drums left-handed, but because of the way I play drums and my right hand being my dominant hand most of the time, I feel like I hit the snare drum really hard. And I feel like that's my I guess if you want to call it style of playing drums. I think that's what stands out, is how hard I play. And
yeah, so my experience being an audio engineer, you were the guy that always hated, because you fucking crank that snare.
Well, or loved, because you don't have to, you're not compressing the fuck out of a snare drum, trying to correct like little low fills. Everything's loud, everything's
for sure
there, So yeah, it's that's my style of playing drums. But I didn't get super serious with it at first. I just sort of, had my drums. I remember I'd go periods of times without playing, and had other stuff going on, fucking whatever kids do.
Let me ask you this. What was the first band you were in, and what age were you?
So the first band I joined was a band called Cynic Society. It's Amber Alert.
Oh, Amber Alert.
Sorry, Amber.
Well, that's going to mess up the recording for sure. Anyway, YouTubers.
What's up, YouTube?
Alert. We hope all the children are A-okay.
Yeah, so first band I joined was called Cynic Society. And so I went to a show at Jackrabbits, probably like 2003. Something like that, I went to a punk show. I forgot what it was. I think it was like Necromantics or something, very that time.
Right.
And at that show, I met this dude Eddie, who was in a band. He just started, he came outside and he's like introduced himself, and we just got to talking. Yeah, we exchanged numbers. Told him I played drums and stuff, and he ended up hitting me up and telling me that the drummer of his band was leaving. I think he was it was a weird fit. It was like a surfer dude that played drums, just kind of, like a Pennywise guy. I don't know.
Pennywise guy.
Yeah,
I love Pennywise.
Yeah, I do too. I grew up. That's what like I said, I have an older brother that's fucking play guitar. So, yeah, that's the first band. I remember my mom. I was like, hey, he lived out in Orange Park and he had a garage and everything. It's like, hey, can you take me over to this guy's house? I want to play. And it's really weird. I remember I played drums, but I wasn't super serious about it. And when I went over there, we jammed together. It clicked. It was cool. That's when it sort of hit me like, oh man, this is like cool. I want to be in a band. I want to take this more seriously. So from there, that band, I mean, honestly, the punk rock scene in Jacksonville at that point in time was huge. It's nothing like it is now. There was real big touring acts coming through, and we played all those shows, man. We were a big local punk band, and it was awesome. I got more serious equipment. Talked my mom into getting me like a decent Pearl drum kit.
So what was the first tour, and what was the first band?
First tour, I was probably 15.
15?
Yeah, it was with...
Oh, shit.
So there was a band from Jacksonville called Brain Damage.
Okay.
And they were good friends of mine, and I wasn't in that band. They just knew me from the bands I played in, and we played shows together and stuff. The drummer of that band was really young. He was like 12 or something. It was this kid, Justin. He was an awesome drummer, like super...
And just like a legit little kid.
Yeah, he was legit. His older brother sang for the band, Brian. They were good friends of mine. But Justin, yeah, he was like... He went to school for... He was just an awesome musician, like awesome percussionist. But it was like fast, thrashy, hardcore punk, and they maybe I was 16. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But
you young.
Yeah, I was definitely. I wasn't an adult. I wasn't
not at all by any means.
We went on a short tour, and actually, Kids Like Us was headlining the tour. And Anchors Away.
First, like kind of big band, Kids Like Us.
Yeah, that was when I met Lars, who sings lead screamer for Kids Like Us. And Anchors Away, Brian Dewberry, that actually works at the same shop that I work at. He was in the band Anchors Away. So that was my first introduction to getting out on the road and touring and stuff. That was a short tour. I mean, it was maybe 4 or 5 shows, but it was still. It was something, Yeah. Actually, I'm my memory's slipping. So my first tour was with Brain Damage, and it wasn't with Kids Like Us. It was just like a little East Coast run, like 4 shows, and then that band got a different vocalist and had some member changes. It was called The Damage. And still at that point in time, my friend Quinn was playing drums. And they had a tour, and he couldn't do it, and they asked me to do it. And I went, and that was when it was with Kids Like Us and Anchors Away. And so from there, I mean, that was my first introduction to being on the road, playing shows every night and stuff. And I loved it, being a 16 or 15-year-old kid, like I don't come...
Places, new people.
Yeah, I don't come from a broken home by any means, but I come from... My background is weird because I was kind of all over the place. Man, my parents were divorced. They both worked in the apartment industry. Mm-hmm. So my mom was a property manager. My dad was always the maintenance supervisor of apartments. And it was sort of shared custody. So I have a brother, Joey. He's close. He's only a year older than me. We're closer in age. we sort of floated all over town because the way that industry is, man, it's apartments, sell like every 3 years or something. There's always new buyers and shit. So when that happens, it's like, are we going to keep our jobs? Are we going to stay here? Or are they going to, clean house? So we moved all over, like I've lived all over Jacksonville in different apartments and stuff. My grandparents lived on the west side. That was sort of like my central, that was my hub, was my grandparents' house on the west side. We stayed with them more than any of them. So, but yeah, it's like that's kind of why I had the freedom to do shit like that, because my parents, they obviously cared about me and they knew what was going on, but at the same time, I was so spread out that it was kind of hard to keep track of what I was doing, and I wasn't doing anything like crazy or fucked up, but
I can relate to that. I mean, I've grown up skateboarding and everything, especially when we moved to Jacksonville. Didn't really know many people, but got thrown into the skating scene or introduced to it, and just grabbed a hold of it. And it was kind of the same. It was any opportunity that I had to go skate somewhere or to skate, and it was like, took it up. And it wasn't that, parents busy.
Yeah, that's
and, not a lot of money, and
Yep.
Let me ask you this. Now, I do know that you are straight edge. Have you always been straight edge?
I'm actually not straight edge anymore.
No. Really, bro?
Yeah, I did. And I'm not like off the deep end, want to do shit. I respect straight edge and I love straight edge, but in my 30s now, I took a second. I looked at myself and I was just like, am I being straight edge for myself, or am I being straight edge because, because I have this image that I have an appearance that I feel like I have to uphold for everybody else. You know what I mean? Which it's, and I was just like, Well,
let me ask you this, because coming from someone that, has battled mental illness and as a young person, looking back now, realizing that I grabbed a hold of substance abuse and or any opportunity to get fucked up that I could because of kind of coping with those issues. I honestly, all of my friends, and I've got so many of them, I mean, we're same circle.
Oh, yeah.
So many of them that were straight edge for so long that I've broken edge as adults. Mad respect for them. Wish that could have been me. Was it anything that made you, was it just because kind of like the scene, or was there something that maybe you saw as a youth?
Honestly, dude, I never did anything as a, I drank beers when I was like 13, and then I was like, all my friends were way older than me. I was like, it's still to this day, my friends for the most part are, like 5 to 8 years older than me. So my friends were the older straight edge kids. And I was just like, this is cool. I have people in my life, I won't throw anybody under the bus, but that were the reason that I wanted to stay away from drugs and
for sure,
and drinking or whatever. And I just thought the movement was awesome. I loved punk rock. I loved hardcore. And I thought it was cool how it went hand in hand. But yeah, as I got older, I went through my 20s. I did it. I kind of fell out of the hardcore scene to an extent. I mean, I'll always love and respect what that scene did for me, but I never really, I like fucking classic rock, dude. Like classic. I don't just drive around and listen to hardcore and shit,
I feel you.
But yeah, it's and a lot of my close friends are still straight edge, and they totally respect the decision that I made. It's not like when we were kids, it's like, oh, fucking sell out. And some people are still like that, and I get it, but
those are it's just any closed-minded person. It's just,
and it's, the thing is, like, okay, that's cool. I don't really care. I mean, that doesn't affect me at all. But yeah, I wanted to smoke weed. I wanted to experience smoking weed, not for.
That's what I was about to ask you.
Not to get fucked up, but more of like, I went through a period, and I'm still going through a self-growth period, but where, and I think it was when I started apprenticing to tattoo, which is probably when you and I started kicking it more.
For sure.
With
Definitely,
Mac.
yeah.
Mac, the guy who taught me how to tattoo,
Love Mac.
Big
shout out to Mac.
Yeah, Mac's the fucking best. He fell into my life at the perfect time, and he did so much for me that he doesn't even realize. It's like, but he got me really on my path to spiritual growth and personal growth.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just wanted to do a little bit of mind altering stuff, just meditate on it, or not to feel like, oh, this is fucking sick, let's fucking party, but to explore. Yeah, exactly, man.
Like to expand your experience of life. Where what I was alluding to earlier was when I was younger and I first got into heavy substance abuse, it was to escape the fact that my young, crazy, chemically imbalanced adolescent mind didn't know how to deal with. You know what I mean? So it was like, oh, anything that'll make me not have to deal with this right now.
Yeah, that's the difference, between being an adult who's been sober his whole life, my whole 20s I was sober, and it kind of with relationships with people and stuff too, it sort of made me feel like I was judging them because like, say somebody has a couple drinks and they're tipsy and loose or whatever, and you're just sitting there like, oh, this fucking asshole. Like you're just, but you don't know what they're like. I never experienced being drunk, so I don't know, like,
right.
So
that's pretty interesting and a very open way of thinking about that.
Yeah, I mean,
I've got a lot. I know a lot of people who are still straight edge and still kind of look at
some
it that
people
way.
need it, man. Some people don't have the ability to fight it.
It's funny, like in that show Shameless.
Yeah.
Okay, like right when they're writing off one of the main characters, Fiona, Frank's like oldest daughter. Frank is William H. Macy's character.
Yeah, I watched the first like 2 seasons of that show.
So right when they decide to write her off, finally she kind of goes spiraling downward and drinking a lot and everything, and he finally looks at her and is like, "You're a bad drunk." And she's like, "Who the fuck are you telling I'm a bad drunk? Like, I mean, it's pot calling the kettle black, right?" But he's like, "No, I'm a good drunk. Like, I get happy and I make everybody around me feel happy and we do good things. Like, you get intoxicated and you want to burn the world down and everyone around you in it."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's definitely the difference. But anyway, definitely heavy enough topic for a minute. We'll switch gears real quick. I want to ask you, love the Over-Cast apparel and all the fishing you've been doing, man. Like I said earlier, I mean, you're not saving any fish for the rest of us, it seems like.
Well, I mean, I'm throwing most of them back, so they're still there if you want to get them. And honestly, I've caught a lot of the same fish twice.
Really?
It's just insane. Yeah. And that's kind of, I know other people that have done the same thing, but, I've caught fish that I've lost hooks in and found, or a certain lure and been like, oh shit.
So let me ask you this: when have you always been into fishing? Or I mean, is this something?
Actually, yeah. It's crazy. I actually have a bass tattoo right here that I forgot I had the other day. It's covered up.
Nice.
But yeah, I grew up fishing with my dad and my brother. There's still
what kind of bass?
What kind of bass? A largemouth bass, man.
Largemouth
That's
bass.
what we got. Yeah, that's what.
About.
Yeah. So the way it went down, my brother and my dad have always been a little bit more into it than I have, a lot more into it than I was when I was a kid. But yeah, dude, I grew up bass fishing, inshore saltwater fishing. I stopped when I went vegan in 2011. I couldn't really find, and plus, I had so much other shit going on fishing. It's sort of I just lost interest in it, which sucks to say, but yeah, it happens. Yeah, so
there was a period in time where I lost interest in skateboarding.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy when something that important to you lose interest in. And I was really big into bass fishing when I was younger and saltwater fishing and everything. But yeah, whenever I stopped being vegan, which is a whole different topic on its own, I still back veganism heavily, but there's a lot of reasons why I don't also, and I won't get into that because that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's a whole podcast.
Yeah, and it's not because I don't love animals or care about animals, and it's like I get everybody's argument, and I did it for 8 years, and I have my reasons for not doing it, and I feel a lot better now. You know,
good for you. Good for you for doing you.
Yeah. So when I stopped that, I started fishing again.
Cool.
I went with my brother Joe one day. Actually, the first day we went, I got really nauseous and sick because we went inshore saltwater fishing. We were catching trout and redfish and stuff. And I guess just sitting there, it was cold as hell. It was in the wintertime. And I remember the current moving. The tide was starting to come back in. It just started moving fast. It made me really nauseous, and I got sick. And I was like, man, I gotta go. I had to go home. And I was like, I don't know why I tried that again. It kind of sucked. And then, sure enough, I gave it another chance and went, and it was fucking awesome. Caught fish, and I don't know, man. From pretty much every day I've gone since then. Nice. You know, and that's been a while. So, you know, that I've got back into it. Well, over a year now, and that's I never forgot how to fish. You know, when you start doing something so young and you do it your whole life, and your dad is so into it and your brother is so into it heavily, you don't forget what you're doing. So I think that's kind of right now, everybody's like, man, that's so crazy. You're so into fishing now. It's like, yeah, fishing's been a huge part of my life, but you know, I didn't really know you guys at that point in my life. But yeah, dude.
I mean, is it the whole, like, you know, resurgence of the passion again for fishing that is like, well, fuck it, you know, I'm gonna make a clothing company from it? I mean,
no, I mean, kind of, yeah. Obviously, I love to fish, and I'm, you know, I consider myself to be a decent fisherman for what I'm doing. You know, targeting bass, catching big bass, targeting the inshore saltwater species and catching them, trying to stay for the most part all artificial.
Yeah.
But I'm also in a completely different world than most people in the fishing scene, I guess you could call it, are in. I'm a tattooer. I'm playing bands. I'm tattooed.
Yeah, completely. You are not. When we put on ESPN2, like on Sunday mornings for ESPN,
yeah, it's like
you are not what we're
yeah,
expect to see
exactly.
on
Long hair and tattoos, and you know, just crazy looking. But the thing is, the reason I wanted to do it was because I do know a lot of tattooers that are heavily into fishing, you know, which is cool. And a lot of my friends are tattooed and into fishing too. And, you know, I know there's more people out there like that. And I'm not trying to take over the world with it or anything. I just think it's cool to do tattoo inspired art for fishing, you know, and
fuck yeah.
I think it's cool. It's like,
well, you look at like just even, I mean, we'll just say 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, my first tattoo was the Son of Italy on my hand. My 18th birthday, that was March 17th, 2003. Jeremy Sweat did that.
That's awesome.
Inksmith and Rogers, Atlantic Boulevard. And I ended up working a few jobs, obviously, after that. And the way that even just 20 years ago, having to break down those barriers of like...
Oh, dude, there's still a huge stigma attached to it, you know? Like
completely. So I think it's fucking rad because, I mean, you're just once again showing like, you know, all these crazy, you know, punk rock, hardcore, hip hop, whatever it is, skateboarder, surfer, fisherman, you know, tattooed, counterculture lifestyle people. I mean, like, we all do all sorts of different things.
Yeah.
And we like to fish.
Yeah, man.
For big mouth bass.
The big mouths.
and I love the name, Over-Cast. I mean, because in Florida, we deal with a lot. I mean, one minute it's raining on one side of the street, next minute it's
low
raining
battery,
on the
bro.
other side. Yeah, no, it's all good.
Low bat, baby.
We're gonna get the video aspect of this flawless sooner or later.
I like that. Well, here's the thing. Okay, so generally speaking, when it comes to fishing, especially here in Florida, I mean anywhere, overcast weather is awesome. Generally speaking, you know, there's little factors that play into that too. I mean, that's the thing about fishing and targeting certain species. is there's so many different factors that come into play that make you decide, okay, I'm going to try this today. I'm going to try this today. Something could do awesome one day. You could catch, 20 fish. The next day, try it, catch nothing, switch to something else. Same thing. So it's based on patterns, but you're also playing the game of figuring out what you need to use to catch it. And then, of course, there's catching the big ones, because obviously the big ones they're old. They're, a 8-pound bass is probably 10 years old. So.
Oh, really? I didn't realize it's that old.
Yeah, man. It could be 7 years old or something. But they're smart.
I wasn't aware of, honestly, like the growth pattern for fish. It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
and it's one thing I've never really looked into.
Yeah, I mean, there's not like.
I know alligators in the wintertime will like slow their heartbeat down to a beat per minute.
Yeah.
And in the first, several years of their life, they'll grow up to a foot a year, depending on weather and the size of water that, I know that shit.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. You're not going to
fish.
find there, okay, so if there's a lot of little bass in the pond, there's not going to be any big bass. There's a fight, there's fighting for food sources, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So, there's a lot of different aspects that come into play, and what kind of forage fish are there for food and blah, blah, blah. But, I went way off topic there, but the overcast it's a good day fishing, generally speaking, is overcast weather. It's awesome. Fish are feisty, especially summertime when, it's real bright outside. Say, for instance, bass fishing, a lot of fish are taking cover, getting out of direct sunlight, clinging to structure, going to deeper water and stuff. Overcast weather, they're feisty. They're usually feeding. You can use top water, stuff like that. That's just not saying that's like exactly what happens, but
it's not science. But
rule of thumb, overcast is a good day fishing for sure.
So my buddy Wild Man, big shout out to Wild Times.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I grew up skating with that dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's an old school Kona homie.
He fucking rips, huh?
He taught me. He's one of the guys that took me under his wing and taught me how to skateboard.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're Instagram friends. I've noticed that. Yeah. Maybe I have before, but I don't think we've ever really hung out in real life. But we're like.
But if you haven't, I definitely need to set that up because you guys are very similar. He rips on guitar. Yeah, actually, he's a great musician. I've heard him play the drums, bass, guitar. Motherfucker kills on a harmonica.
That's awesome. That's like Mac, dude. Mac fucking rips on harmonica too.
He will fucking go to town.
That rules. Yeah, I can tell. You can even it's crazy through internet. You can pick up vibes of people. You can tell they're like legit.
Real.
Yeah, man. Seems like it.
Yeah, that's dope. So anyway, we're gonna switch categories a little bit. Being that my passion, one of the many passions, is skateboarding. You and I have skated a couple of times. You grew up skateboarding?
I did.
When was around the time that you got into skating?
Probably 99. I'm regular footed.
Right on.
I skate real weird. I have like a lanky dude style. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like I'm not like super. I think it's cool. It's like a punk rock style. You know how you can tell when, like, watching dudes back in the day, it was like fucking Jeff Rowley or I don't know, what's that dude that skated for Flip that was a weirdo? Super big fucking weirdo.
Skated for Flip that was a weirdo.
He did you remember on Sorry, he did the giant stair set. There was it
Ali?
Baba.
Ali Bulala.
Yeah, Ali Bulala.
Oh, dude, do you know what happened to him?
I read something about it recently.
Dude,
didn't he go to prison or some shit?
Okay, yeah. So there's this other skater, Shane Cross. Rest in peace, Shane Cross.
Drunk driving or something, right?
So they were in Paris, and they were on like a moped. Now, might be mistaken on some of the details, but I'm pretty sure this is along the lines of what happened. Ali Bilala was driving. Shane Cross was on the back. DUI accident. Shane Cross died. Ali Bilal ended up going to prison for DUI manslaughter in Paris, in France. But he suffered a traumatic brain injury. So he was like in the hospital for like a year and a half, for like months on end,
Crazy.
trying to just learn how to walk and talk again before he ended up having to go turn himself, like the guy cannot even ollie anymore. And it's one of like, not only did Shane Cross lose his life, I mean, it just adds to the tragedy of, you know, drinking and driving and everything else. Like, not only did somebody lose their life, but one of the most prolific skateboarders of our generation lost his complete ability to skate, was incarcerated, and killed his best friend.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild.
It's fucking nuts, man.
Yeah. But anyway, super serious again. How are we getting heavy there?
Yeah, no, well, that's like that's what I liked, like that style of skateboarding.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I did, because I was into punk rock back then. I was like,
oh, he was super like fringe kind of. You know,
yeah, it was that I thought that was cool, like the skate punk, and you know, before that I was.
Yeah, do my own thing,
my first board was like a World Industries board. I was fucking, you know, we had to start somewhere.
Yeah,
I was mall grabbing.
Pushing Mongo and mall grabbing.
I never pushed Mongo. Luckily,
I will admit, I did
sick.
push Mongo, but that was something that that I overcame.
Somebody else told me that recently too. My buddy Clark, he pushes Mongo when he skated switch or something like that. Which,
well, see, that's the one thing that helped me, because when I did finally make myself push regular.
Yeah.
So whenever I push switch, I can throw down, like properly switch, and push proper switch. So like no matter what, I never push.
Yeah, there you go.
So like either way,
muscle memory.
Yeah, there's gonna be like a learning curve no matter how you do it. It's just fucking get on a board, ride, have fun, fuck authority, you know, all the good shit. So anyway, what would be your favorite band? I know that you are a music connoisseur, so if you want to break this up into like a top 5 spanning genres, I'm cool with it.
No, I mean, I can tell you right now, Alice Cooper is anybody that's close to me knows, or anytime they see like something Alice Cooper, they'll text me like, oh, it's just all Alice Cooper on this. So this is like one of my first memories, man. When I was probably 3 or 4, my mom's from Montana originally.
Wow, big sky country.
Yeah, for some reason we decided that we're gonna move to Montana, and you know, my mom and dad, we packed up our shit and got in the U-Haul, and my 2 brothers, and we went to Montana. The whole drive to Montana, I remember Alice Cooper. My dad was playing Alice Cooper cassettes like throughout the trip in the U-Haul, and that always stuck with me. And that's always been like, you know, I remember we got there. I was like, man, I want those cassettes. And I remember we only lived there for fucking, I don't know, like a month or 2, and then
it was ingrained.
Yeah, dude, yeah, the fucking Coop, man. That's my earliest memories is listening to Alice Cooper. So that's always been like, when I was a kid, everybody had like their superhero fucking, you know, Superman or Spider-Man. I was fucking drawing Alice Cooper at school on my.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was so sick. My uncle was really into Alice Cooper and played music and stuff, and he would give me VHS tapes and shit. So I just.
And the man is a genius.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's just a good dude, you know.
Yeah,
but the Alice Cooper Kiss, I was really big into Kiss when I was a kid. That was like my
Kiss Army.
I still love Kiss. I mean, there's obviously like
you ever seen him live?
I have. I saw original lineup live in '96.
I saw him Camden, New Jersey, 2002, maybe 2003.
Yeah.
I was either just about to graduate high school or I just graduated high school. And my dad works for the airline industry. 9/11 happened, airline industry crashed. They made him move up to Philly if he wanted to keep his job. So like the family, we're still here in Jacksonville. He was up there, so kind of went up there, and they ended up playing in camp with Aerosmith, actually.
I remember that tour.
Yeah, and it was right around the time that Aerosmith dropped that like Jaded and all that crap.
Yeah.
But they didn't
Garbage.
play none of that trash. They played all like.
I love
original
Aerosmith,
stuff.
dude. I love Aerosmith.
Yeah.
Aerosmith. If you look at, I just looked at my top 5 on Spotify. I don't know how Pink Floyd was. Pink Floyd was number 5, and I guess
That's my favorite band of all time.
that's awesome. I love Pink Floyd, but I listen to The Wall. That's like my
Do you like any of David Gilmour's like solo stuff?
Not really,
Everybody
man.
gives like Roger Waters like so much credit.
I don't dislike it, but I never really got super into it. I like The Wall, and I like obviously like Dark Side of the Moon, but there's like a Mother from The Wall. I play that song so much, and that's probably why they're on.
Good song,
it's an awesome song.
It's a great song.
That's probably why they're on my top 5. But the rest was John Anderson, country singer, was number 4. That's another one that I've loved John Anderson since I was a little kid, dude. I've seen him a couple times live too.
Right
Seminole win, dude. So and then it was Aerosmith, Kiss, and Alice Cooper, which is like those are my bands.
Top 5.
You know. But I'm so like era specific with bands, except for Alice Cooper. I love everything because I'm just a lot of it sucks. Like you know, like late 70s, early 80s is trash.
That's like Kiss. I'm the kind of like
I'm very with Kiss. Like I can tell you,
like
I can school you on Kiss out like albums or whatever, you know, years they came out and shit. But 80s Kiss, it's just like nope. I don't touch it.
Yeah.
Early 90s Kiss. Eric Singer's like my favorite drummer. So when he joined the band, that was cool to me.
I could fuck with the Psycho Circus album. What was that, like late 90s?
Yeah, it was late 90s.
Late 90s.
Yep, that was the time.
That was the only one from like that. I feel like that 20-year like gap.
Yep.
That I was really like, I'm kind of fucking with that.
Yeah, that was cool because that was the original lineup came back and shit. And I put the makeup on and shit. I remember when Psycho Circus came out. I was a guest. They had the McFarlane action figures and shit.
Yes,
and I collected those.
Oh yes.
Dude, yeah, I loved it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's so. My favorite, I guess, music ever is it's very era specific. I'd say 69 through 74. Classic rock, and there's so many. Something was in the water, and something was. There's obviously recording has come a long way since then, but there's something magical about the way albums were tracked back then, the tape that was used, the equipment that was used, you know, and the way mixing was done, you know. Obviously it's gotten better, but it's gotten, in my opinion, it's too perfect now.
No, I was about to say
it's too
spot on.
Yeah.
Coming from someone that apprenticed as an audio engineer, and I worked for a guy who was completely analog, and I mean this man, 40-year audio.
Well, if you heard the Rolling Stone, like if
there was an art to it.
Yeah, dude.
You could hear in the records almost like the imperfections.
Yeah.
Is almost what made it.
Musicianship was so like everything. It's just a different time, man. You know.
Digitized now.
Way over digitized, too perfect, too. You know, everybody wants.
Used to record outside.
Yeah, there's all sorts of experimental shit like that, but everything is like click tracks, like everything's perfect timing. Drums are
the metronome count, and then you can like literally stop halfway through your riff.
Listening to drums like on modern recording just fucking makes me so sad because you can just tell like everything's fucking sound replaced and triggered, and it's like snap to grid. It's fucking sad, and I like the organic feel and sound of that era of music and the way that it because there's songs that were done back then like I don't know, like say fucking the Guess Who, like, you know, No Sugar Tonight.
Yeah.
Say that song, the way that the drums sound in that, if that was recorded nowadays and I heard it, I'd just be like, what is this crap? You know what I mean? Like, this sucks. But it's like the production of that. This song, it's a great song too. It's fucking awesome. But everything is like so overproduced, dude, and it just kills the music for me.
Totally. You know, it's actually refreshing. How old are you, Bob?
30.
30.
Yep.
It's even more refreshing because as I approach my 35th birthday, only like 3 months away, I think, March. We're getting close.
You're still 34. It's all right. You're not halfway through your 30s yet.
Wait, thank you. I love you. Babe, did you hear that? I'm not halfway through yet. She keeps busting my balls on that. But anyway, I always feel so old because that's why I try talking with people, especially nowadays, is like they just don't understand what I mean when I say like it's not, music doesn't seem to be as unique as it used to be. In the fact that, because okay, let's be real. There's only so many times we can like come up with this.
You can't reinvent the wheel so many times. Yeah, dude. It's same with everything. It's same thing with tattooing, dude. It's like,
right.
Same
thing with tattooing. But it's like it's the uniqueness in how it's played, how it's put down, is being taken away from the super audio purified environments and digital drums and digital everything.
Yeah.
So I completely agree with you. I love all genres of music, but honestly, on my regular go-to, especially if I'm like making shit or trying to get inspired, like it's exactly pretty much the same era and genre, like 69 to 75 classic rock.
Yeah, it's the shit.
Throw on some Marshall Tucker band and I'm about to fucking...
Yeah, dude.
Like, let's get it.
I love classic country too, man.
See, I don't really fuck with the country so much.
And this is gonna sound fucked up, but I like when it comes to classic country, the guys at the shop know too. We have this like 9.5 hour long playlist that James and Henry and I made. It's just classic country. We play it almost every day, but Henry had a bunch of like Dolly Parton and Patsy Cline. Yeah, and I was like, dude, I can't, like, female country vocalists, I cannot fucking deal with that, dude. It's something about it, I just can't. So yeah, I like old country, you know.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I just want to say that really appreciate you being on.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I'm glad that, I mean, it's awesome. I'm glad
that super stoked for everything that you have going on. Definitely super hyped because you have done the tattoo that annoys my fiance the most.
Oh yeah, which one is that?
It's the G spot, the vagina bowl.
Oh yeah.
You remember that one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's back there.
That's awesome.
No, it's so funny because I remember you telling me, it was like, what are you going to tell your kids? And I was like, oh fuck, I don't know. And you're like, just tell them it's a bubblegum monster. I've legit used that like 3 or 4 times.
I love
like,
that.
My kids have been like, what is that? And I'm like, well, my oldest now, I mean, she's turned 11 today and she skates. So I'm like, oh, it's a bowl with some artistic,
yeah,
detail around it.
It's a
ham.
ham.
But my youngest, I'm like, it's a bubblegum monster. Watch out.
That's sick. She's gonna remember that when she gets old. She's like, hey, remember when you used to tell me this is a fucking bubblegum monster?
Yeah.
That's funny.
But anyway, man, I definitely got to come see you sometime soon because it's been a hot minute. You were the last one to tattoo me, and
yeah, man, I'm.
It's been a hot minute, but anyway, like I said, beyond stoked for everything you got going on.
Thanks, dude.
Overcast. Bobby P _IR.
That's me.
Tell everybody else where they can find you on the World Wide Web and in real life.
So that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm at Inksmith Rogers on 3rd Street in Jacksonville Beach. I've been with Inksmith for 8 years now. I love it. I don't plan on going anywhere. I work with my best friends, which is awesome. So that's where you'll find me at. I live in the building, so if I'm not at work, I'm probably either fishing or upstairs in my apartment. Online, the Instagram is my main go-to for social media, and that's it. That's Bobby P _IR. Over-Cast Fishing Apparel is the company, and it's cool. It's all made to order. I screen print everything in my kitchen, so if I get
fuck yes.
Yeah,
I love it even more now.
Yeah, man. If I don't have something on hand,
it's not like that Shopify like where you just like sent them like a JPEG.
Yeah,
like,
dude. I burned the screens with a fucking floodlight and do it all. I just got a shirt press and everything. So yeah, man.
Love it, dude. Handmade by real
dude.
American
DIY baby.
People here in Duval County, Florida. Get you some Overcast clothing, apparel. My buddy, Bob Presson. I call him Bobby P. In the building. It's been a pleasure, my boy.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming out.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm glad you had me.
And we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye, guys.
Hey everybody, it's your boy Paulie back at you, and I just want to give a huge thanks to everybody that has tuned in and subscribed through our first 3 episodes. I would also like to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year. I'm very excited for all of the guests and events that we have on the horizon for the year 2020. If you would like to hit me up for any inquiries about advertising spots, guests, booking, or events, please email me at paulyonthepod@gmail.com. If you would like to sign up to be a VIP member of the podcast, you can go to patreon.com/paulyonthepod. All of our Patreon members will receive a VIP bonus box full of a bunch of goodies. You should definitely check it out. And you can follow us on the gram at paulyonthepod. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and subscribing. I'm super stoked about the first 3 episodes and everything that we have on our future coming forward into the year 2020. And I appreciate y'all just being here on this adventure with me. And you guys have a safe holiday and a very, very happy New Year. And I will catch you guys the first week of January. Later.